I'd like to call the meeting of the Rockland Community College Board of Trustees to order. The time is 7:01. And on time. Mr. Secretary, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Martin Wartenbeck.
Here.
Ms. Beverly Dillon.
Here.
Frank Valentine. Here. Ms. Marilyn Dykstra.
Present.
Ms. Ileana Eckert. Ms. Susan Ramos.
Here.
Mr. Joseph Rand. Mr. Mendel Tal.
Here.
Mr. Richard Hoyt. Ms. Emma Cutchamero.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We're now at the public comment section of our agenda. Is there any public comment? No, thank you.
Can we let our new student trustee introduce herself?
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Fatima Farouk. I'm
What
the
is that?
student trustee. I'm currently pursuing a degree in math and science in the honors program. I run a little nonprofit in Valley Cottage.
Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a presentation this evening on the Hospitality and Culinary Arts Center that we're proposing in Nyack, New York. And Mr. David Kimmel is here. Want to do your presentation?
And David, why don't you, before you begin, just tell them a little bit about your background in addition to being an adjunct here.
Do you want to set up that? Richard, please. I do have some presentation materials that are on Encore. I'm wondering what might be the best way to address it. We have
I
guests.
think it's probably best for the trustees to go into the audience. We're going to set some easels up. I'm going to briefly go out to the audience and then you can come back.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me this evening to make the presentation. I'm delighted to be here. And I will tell you, without any concern, a little bit about who I am. First, I'd like to tell you that my last name, Kimmel, Kimmel, means in most European languages one who sowed caraway seed. So there's a certain sense that this has been infused in me throughout my entire life and probably part of my premortal disposition. Throughout my career, I have been a food and beverage person. I am a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, an honors graduate. I'm also a past instructor of what we affectionately refer to as the CIA. I am also, or at least I was, the youngest board member. Regrettably, my gray hair betrays me, but at the time I was the youngest board member that the CIA ever had. I chaired their long-range planning committee and sat for many years on their educational policy committee. I was also chairperson of my 25th reunion at the CIA, the same class as the current president, Tim Ryan. And as a thank you to my alma mater, I created one of their public restaurants, which is called the American Bounty. Throughout my professional career, and I promise I'll move quickly, I am an author. I've had the pleasure of working for some of the most prestigious food and beverage clients internationally, and had the pleasure of working with the greatest restaurateur impresario in a think tank scenario in Manhattan. And in that scenario, I was, in fact, the vice president and created all of my clients' projects for them internationally. Those clients included, of course, Intercontinental Hotels, Hilton, Mövenpick in Switzerland, the Royal Jordanian family, et cetera, et cetera. So I went on my own after that, formed my own company, appropriately called Caraway Associates. My first client was Dick Clark. My second client was the World Financial Center in downtown Manhattan. I had the pleasure of working with Cesar Pelli, the Dean of Architecture out of Yale, and I worked with him to literally design all of the food and beverage spaces in that entity downtown. So I think that's probably enough about me. I thank you for bearing with that. And now I'd like to go into something more exciting, which is the future RCC Hospitality and Culinary Arts Center at NIAC. I'd like to begin this evening by telling you a little bit about what brought us to this point. And of course, it all began with Dr. Wood when he came to me and said, this is what the college would like to do. Would you like to help? And of course, I was both enthused and honored. And that's the way we've been traveling ever since in this project, with a lot of passion. Having said that, there is clearly a need in the Mid-Hudson Valley for workforce-ready hospitality and culinary employees. I won't spend time this evening telling you about the statistics or why, pardon me, but I think most of you understand that there's tremendous growth, which is coupled with the governor's initiative to build the food and beverage industry within the Hudson Valley itself, to promote agritourism, to support local farms, local food manufacturers, and in fact, to create a brand under the banner of I Love New York called Taste New York, which features and promotes all food and beverage from from New York, including Manhattan. That is basically the essence of our program, and that's where I'll begin. Certainly, we are repurposing the department. And when I mean repurposing, the core mission of the Hospitality and Tourism Department here at the college is admittedly a bit dated, as well as the facility being a bit antiquated, and limits our ability to support this burgeoning growth in the Mid-Hudson Valley, the demand of food and beverage workforce-ready employees. So by moving into NIAC, we do a number of things. Most importantly, we have the ability to expand the program, but it does go much deeper. So for a moment, I'd like to stay conceptual before I take you through the plans and point out a couple of, if you will, cornerstones of the program. Number one, and probably the most important, is our moving forward hand in hand with industry. And in very simple terms, it means bringing industry into the program, making them part of the curriculum, letting them get familiar with who our students are, what are the opportunities from our graduates, and of course to support the program. And we've already reached out to Wegmans, Compass International, a host of other companies that will come to the table and interface with the program. That's been a missing piece for quite some time, because our graduates are going into industry, and if they don't understand what industry wants, and if we don't understand what industry wants, we cannot deliver a graduate who will in fact bring more students to our program, dollars to our program, and recognition to our program. And we have fallen down in that job, but the good news is we recognize it and we're going to change it. Number two, as we repurpose this curriculum piece, we are focusing on what we call applied learning experiences, which really boils down to you learn by doing. Many programs in the same sector, hospitality and tourism, practice something that we're going to embrace in the curriculum, which are called stacked competencies. So in cooking, so you understand, it starts here. It's a passion. It's not a book. It's a love. And then you get the ideas, and it comes out here through your hands. It's a skill set. And unless you practice that skill set repeatedly, the same skill set over and over, you really can't master it. And that's one of the, again, cornerstones of what we want to adhere to as we move this program forward. This repetitive form of education, whether it be a simple biscuit or a sophisticated souffle, it's the repetitiveness the learning of the mistakes and how to correct them that we're going to focus on. And that will happen in a multitude of what we call applied learning situations, which I will explain. The next point I want to bring up is that, and the rest of it, something that I take from both Tom Delatorre and Dr. Wood, is the message that we are Rockland, and I put this in quotations, community college. So by moving into Nyack, we really do become an integral part of Nyack and the county overall, simply based on location. And in the food and beverage industry, there's three things that matter when you're choosing where to put your operation, and that is location, location, location. And we have truly one of the best locations in Rockland County. So, a couple of other things I'd like to say about the program before I start taking you through the plan is, part and parcel to this industry interface, we as a college and as a program have to understand that the young people who are coming through our doors have no idea to what it is to be a professional. They have no role model up until this point. In fact, I don't need to spend any time with you in telling you about what is coming through our doors and the fact that there's a lot of need, simple things on how do you stand? How do you speak to somebody? Do you look in their eyes? How do you do an interview? And even more embarrassingly, how do you dress for an interview? These are the things we have to install in our students. Critical. Because, and I'll use Wegmans as an example, and again, we're working closely with the new store that's opening up in Montvale. We're placing a significant number of graduates there, and they are interfacing with us on what we can do to make our curriculum more workforce ready for their needs. And they have 4 other stores opening up in the region in the next 2 years. The number one issue with Wegmans is not about whether the graduates have the ability to cook. They're way more interested in how they handle themselves. And remember, this is a model where there's a tremendous amount of customer interface. That is the trend. It's not just Wegmans. It's Whole Foods. It's Fairway. It's DeCecco. And it's also the restaurant industry in it. The employee cannot handle themselves, know when to step back, when to step up, and how to do that in a professional environment. We go nowhere. So that is going to be a very critical component as we move forward. And you will see it in every facet. The way the students are dressing, the way they conduct themselves, and maybe most importantly, there'll be no cell phones in the kitchens. They will have to leave them in their lockers. Seems like a small and trivial issue, but I can't even tell you how many times we're trying to teach, or I'm trying to teach, and I see students doing this. That will stop, at least the Hospitality and Field Learning Center. So the final cornerstone of this concept, which is possibly, or at least certainly equal to all the other things I've mentioned, is that we are repurposing our brand. Now, of course, the core mission is still and will always be hospitality and tourism. But we're going to rebrand ourselves so that we become the flagship college that promotes the state of New York by food and beverage. Again, this follows the governor's initiative of building the food and beverage industry in the Hudson Valley. It should access funding from the state because this is a hand in a glove to what the state is looking for from its communities, from its colleges, and from its businesses. So if my crystal ball was working correctly, and I will take you through the space, we will be known for all things New York food and beverage, and hopefully in our farm to market store, the goal will be to have the greatest assortment in the state of New York of all things made in New York. That does a lot of things for us. Of course, it attracts tourism because we will market it as such. It attracts students because the local movement of farm to market, head to toe, sustainability, low carbon footprint all fits into this model. And it's not about what we or I think. This is the trend. This is the direction of the food and beverage industry, and it will continue to be so, certainly for the next 10 years. So having said that, I'd like to take you through the space now. Are there any questions before we go on plan? Okay, wonderful. So, 2 floors are currently within our leasehold. A main floor on Broadway and Main in downtown Nyack, and the lower level floor. And what I'm going to do is take you through each space now and give you more definition as to what's going to actually happen in that space, what you will expect to see when you go into that space, and how that space is going to basically operate. So, on our main floor, and again, for orientation purposes, please, Main Street, Broadway. Okay. Main student entrance will be on Main Street. And this, as you can understand, is a major hallway that goes through the main floor. That hallway has its own vision. As crazy as it sounds, that's going to be part of our local heritage culinary museum. So that when our guests and tourists, and we again, pushing tourism, that is a revenue stream that we can do very well with. So that hallway and all the hallways will be decorated with food artifacts, food history, and the history of the building. We've already contacted Orange and Rockland. They used to own this block, including Town Hall next to it. And Tom Brizzolero at Orange and Rockland has been sending over photo after photo of what this building used to look like back in the 20s, the 40s, and the 60s. I'm also working with the Rockland Historical Society to understand what really happened here in the county by food. What role did the Blauvelds play? What kind of farming was done? What kind of grains were grown? That too will become part of our history of the facility. First corner I'd like to talk about is the farm to market store, and that's right here with its own kitchen. And I'd like to step back and explain to you that we have 2 significant kitchens in the facility. One is the teaching kitchen. The other is the farm to market kitchen. And at this moment in time, as we continue to develop the project, we believe that in order to sell retail, and we will be, whether under our own banner or somebody else's, there has to be a consistency in that product. And so you understand, one of the problems up at the CIA, it's really not a problem, it's just a fact, is that every time a class changes at the CIA, so does the cuisine. So when you go into the Bocuse restaurant, or the American Bounty, or even the Catena de Medici, so much of it has to do with what class is in the kitchen. So we're going to avoid that problem, and the CIA is now changing to avoid it as well. And we will put a professional staff in the market kitchen. That staff, of course, will interface with the students through jobs, internships, and a variety of other opportunities that will be seamlessly integrated into the curriculum. Everything about these plans, while they may sound community-driven, industry-driven, at the end of the day, they're always about the students. All of these other pieces only enhance the student's education. So this farm-to-market store will feature all things New York, fresh and shelf-stable. And we've reached out to Taste New York. I'm not sure everyone is familiar with Taste New York. That is the governor's initiative to, again, promote food and beverage from New York State. You see the signs along the highway. And the Department of Agriculture and Markets in Albany has, in fact, shone a bright light on us, and they're excited about the project. And hopefully they will cohabit with us in this space. They'll be a great asset in delivering a significant amount of marketing to the program, and specifically to the store. The store will also feature freshly prepared products, fresh fruits and vegetables from local and nearby farms. And this is where our first applied learning experience takes place. Not only will the students be involved in some of the preparation, The hope will be that the mise en place is a professional term for the early preparation of a recipe. So the goal would be to have a lot of the mise en place done in the student kitchen, whether it be practicing knife skills or creating stocks that they can use in this facility so they get the experience. Additionally, in the retail market, and this is very exciting, I think, but I get very excited about everything in this project, so please bear with me, is that the students are actually going to create their own branded product, shelf-stable, that will appear on the shelves in the store. The working title for this brand right now is Sunny Hawk. It's SUNY with an extra N and, of course, our logo. Whether it remains that way, this board is going to guide me very carefully on. However, the goal, again, is that the students will understand, first of all, what does it take to conceptualize, to create an idea for a product. That's where it always begins. Is it based on demand? Is it based on trend? And then they will interface with the other classes in the program to do the costing of the product. The graphic design of the label, what's it going to say? The analysis of the stability of the product, and we hope to work with York Labs to, in fact, collaborate with us on testing the food chemistry of the product, its shelf stability, and, in fact, its overall safety. That's another collaboration. Collaboration is going to be key to making this facility work. And as I present tonight, I will endeavor to tell you about all the collaborations that we're developing. So this piece of what it is to create a product is exceedingly entrepreneurial. This is food and beverage manufacturing at its basic level. This is where small startups begin, with the ideation, concept development, and then you go to market. Then there's the whole educational curve of how do you sell it? How do you get it off the shelf? Again, that piece will interface with the marketing program within the hospitality industry. So the goal will be to get the entire program to interface on projects, whether it be a shelf-stable SUNY brand product on the shelf, or it be an event that we hold in the facility. We want to get each class involved so they really understand how it all comes together, which is going to be critical to their success once they get outside. Moving through the space, we do have a market seating area. The market seating area, in very simple terms, a guest will be able to come into the market, buy something, and seat themselves. It will be open to the street, so it will have a cafe-like feel. We will either awning the front or umbrella the cafe area for signage and, of course, to attract guests, let them know something's really happening here. This space will also be used, this market seating space, for a couple of other things. Number one, another applied learning opportunity for the students. We will have a pop-up restaurant in this space, so that when the students who are in the culinary classes are ready, there will be, during any given semester, a certain number of meals served. The restaurant will just pop up. We'd like all of you to join us one evening. The students will write the menu in the menu writing class. They will create a beverage menu in the beverage management class. They will create, of course, the service piece. How do you serve food? You know, our students don't even know that you serve from the left and you clear from the right. The most basic thing about hospitality. These are little things, but in the scope of food and beverage, they're everything. It's a business of detail. And that's, again, what we want to teach the students. Every little detail is important. It's also a business of, regrettably, nickels and dimes. You've got to watch every penny. And that's another thing the students are going to learn. You don't throw food out. And I promise you, to the best of my ability, when you come into the teaching kitchen or the market kitchen and you go to the garbage area or the dishwasher, and this is what all professionals do, you stand there, you'll see no food in that garbage can. Because if there's food in the garbage can, Either we're serving the wrong food, or we've made a mistake, or we didn't recognize that there's people in our community who are hungry, and that's who should eat that food. So, pop-up restaurant, market seating during normal hours when the market is open, and it will be a private event space that can handle up to about 60 guests, which will be merchandised to not-for-profits, to industry, to businesses, and to organizations who'd like to use the space and, of course, get a student-prepared meal or some kind of food and beverage service. As you come through, we have on this side our teaching kitchen. This is our student teaching kitchen, and this is also very exciting because what we've done in this space is now every 2 students will have their own cooking station. Currently, 12, 10 students gather around one station. It's exceedingly difficult. So now there are 2 students per station with a full brigade of cooking equipment, all with video monitors, so that the teaching chef, who will most likely be placed here with these stations set up along both sides, will be cameraed. And as he or she, the chef, is doing a demonstration, the students can stand at their stations, understand what it is to debone a chicken, and then do it. The teaching kitchen will, in fact, be able to accommodate up to 20 students in any given class. So the good news is we can double the class size. The teaching kitchen will also have a mix of equipment that, in all cases, resembles what's currently state-of-the-industry equipment. So that when the students leave as graduates, they don't go out into industry and say, what is that piece of equipment? How do I operate it? They will know. Coming through the space here, going out this end, is a loading dock. We're very fortunate to have a loading dock, which in food and beverage is critical because of all the deliveries that come in and out and the access into the facility that will be secured. This is another entrance into the building itself, and I'd love to take any of you through the space, and when you see this area, this is authentic deco. And we've been pleading with the landlord, and he's heard our message to retain that piece. Remember, this building has been around since the 20s, and there are components in the building that absolutely are gorgeous and will only add to the image of what we're trying to do, because we are food and beverage school, yes. But this program will include cultural events, music events, speaking, lectures, demonstrations. The goal here, so you folks understand, is to really maximize the potential of the space so that we create not only all of these applied learning experiences for the students, but we have an opportunity to create multiple revenue streams. So not only will this have an opportunity to be successful, but could, in the best of cases, be very successful because of the multiple opportunities we have for revenue. This being one, this being another. Now I'm going to give you a little more background so you understand it's not student revenue, it's revenue from tourism, as an example. We're proposing to make a very aggressive approach towards the tourist industry. As you probably understand, there's a significant number of tour buses that pass right through this county and do not stop on their way to Woodbury Commons. And we anticipate a strong collaboration with the County of Rockland, their tourism department. We've already been speaking with them about what we want to do. And again, in simplistic terms, we want to offer programming here for tourists so that if a busload of Asian visitors, as an example, is heading up to Woodbury Commons, we can get them to stop in Nyack, possibly do a New York wine tasting or distilled spirits tasting, or even a lecture from one of the local manufacturers, taste product. And then they get back on their bus and they're gone. Before they go, they'll get a coupon for 10% off in our retail store. So it will be an exciting stop for anybody passing through the county to participate in a program. It could even be an hour and a half seminar on how to bake an apple pie with New York apples. And then they can take that apple pie with them. Additionally, we see a strong market in food enthusiast programming. For people not unlike all of us, who may not be in the industry professionally, but who love to cook, who want to know more about cooking, there will be a wide variety of courses taught here in the evening and on the weekends for just that purpose, as well as credited and non-credited evening and weekend continuing education classes. So the kitchen has tremendous application, not only to teach, but again, to generate revenue. I think that basically takes us through the first floor. Before we go downstairs, are there any questions?
You're doing a good job, or they wouldn't be this attentive. They'd be looking at their watches, so keep going.
Okay, I'll try to keep it moving. Thank you. So the lower floor is where the classrooms will be. We have two, which could open up into one. Each classroom will handle a minimum of 30 students. Additionally, all of the storage space is downstairs, and the actual student services wing, which will include, of course, a break room with lockers. It will include a computer room. It will include, forgive me, some hospitality offices, all part of what goes on in the student's world. So as you may recall, this is the entrance. They go right down the stairs as they make entrance into the space. In other words, here, they get right into their student area. Again, next to it are the classrooms, part more of the museum that will take place in our space. And then we have another applied learning space, and that's our amphitheater. What's really remarkable is this amphitheater has been here for over 30 years. It was originally a showroom for Orange and Rockland, literally with a stage, tiered seating, to present the appliances they were selling. And I'm going to guess how to use them, because it was really quite a setup with all of these deco pieces as part of the decor. We're going to recreate that to as great a degree as possible. It will be tiered, as it was. There will be a stage, which we're showing here, and that stage will be a demonstration stage. It's really got to look like a jewel box, because I would like, and I know that I believe the college would like to really make this a destination location. And in this space, we want to do a variety of things. Of course, we want to do cooking demonstrations, bring in one of the greater farms in the area, have them come and demo their products and make something with it. This would also be a place where tourists could come for presentations, lectures, movies. It could be expanded into musical productions. Some of you probably know Neil Berg. I'd love to bring Neil Berg and his Broadway shows into this space, smaller scale. I'd like to merchandise it to tourists, to locals, as a dinner theater. It's another form of revenue, and if we can orchestrate it, the students, more importantly, get another applied learning experience. What does it take to serve a meal around entertainment? That's an industry into itself. The stage will have a full cooking brigade, so a chef or anybody who would want to do a demonstration, a hot food demonstration, will be able to do this. And ideally, budget permitting, Tom, we want to camera this so everything can be recorded and potentially even broadcast. We've been talking a little bit to Channel 12, reaching out to their parent company, Arista. Again, we want to put this information out there. Whether we start on YouTube or not is irrelevant. One day, the programming that's in this space will get the air that it deserves, so long as we create the right programming. Wine tastings will be a big component in this space. And again, The focus would be New York wines, craft beverages, another pet project of the governor's. Do you recognize the fact that Rockland County has got the most breweries in it than any other county in the state of New York? We've got 4 right now. So we're going to create a program that's going to possibly happen here, but it will certainly happen here, and it's called Rockland Brews. And it will be a program where you can come in, taste all of these beers, have a presentation made by one of the brewmasters, and some food to go with it. Again, just one example of the opportunities we have in the overall space. One last point I'd like to make. Another lesson we're to teach our students is that you don't use the same bathrooms that the guest uses. How many of you have ever walked into a restaurant and seen an employee there? It doesn't work. It's not professional, and it doesn't take place in the better establishments throughout the world. And with that, we believe it's important to spend a little more money and create student bathrooms in the student area and keep these bathrooms open to the public. It's messaging. Again, I'm going to take you back to the Wegmans example. All they really care about is the level of professionalism that the student has. They believe, Wegmans is 90 stores now, they're going to be the largest supermarket chain in the country in 5 years. They are growing and it's family owned. They believe they can do their own training. But if they don't have the right piece of clay to mold, it'll never go anywhere. And that's what they want from us. They want us to feed them graduates who understand that it's okay when the curtain comes down to be any way you want, but when the curtain comes up, it's theater. And you have to know how to stand, you have to know how to speak, you have to know how to behave. You have to take the earrings out of your ears, you've got to hide the tattoos, because that's the way the industry wants it, whether we like it or not. Some of the collaborations, and this is where I'll finish up, we are collaborating with Cornell Cooperative Extension, Taste of New York, Wegmans, Hilton Pearl River, collaborating with Westchester Community College. We're going to get together with that college so that we don't compete with each other, but we work together. We're going to get really close to BOCES because they're sending all of their students over to Westchester. Why? We don't have the facility. And we're going to dig even deeper in. And I hope I get to do this myself. I want to go into the high schools and talk to the students in the high schools. We want to create programming for children in this space, for tweens, because those are feeders to us. Just watch CHOP on cable TV and watch the kids who are cooking. There's a huge market there. And if we can offer them exciting experiences at a young age, there's a good chance they're going to come back to us and want to make this a professional career and use our campus and our college to get their degree or certification. We're also looking at how do you train somebody to do one thing so that we can accelerate the workforce needs in the industry. So instead of trying to fit everybody into one form of degree, there are people out there who really don't have the capacity to get through a degree program. However, they're wonderful human beings with tremendous skill sets. So if we can teach somebody how to be a breakfast cook, in a shorter period of time, they can go right out to industry and get a job as a breakfast cook. And then they can matriculate up through their industry through mentoring, which I neglected to mention is, of course, very important. I look to you, the student, because I know when I teach in my class, the way I motivate my students the most is I mentor them. I get next to them and I show them things that they never even could imagine. They get excited and they want to go for it. And isn't that what we all want, an open door? It's really not that difficult. It's the commitment, the passion, and the love for what we do. And if you don't have those things in the food and beverage industry, you don't belong there because it's a tough business. You have to really embrace it with all of your heart.
Questions?
That I do.
You did great. Questions? Comments? So we are reviewing the lease next week, and we are hopefully moving forward. As you all know, we have funding for the equipment in the kitchen, special funding already secured. So we're very excited about all of this. And the classrooms, the students will be able to get their general education classes, and they could do hopefully the entire degree there if that was where they needed to be.
Future thinking, the building has 2 other floors. The building has 2 floors above it.
And we have the right to first refusal in the lease.
And one day, assuming that we're successful, and I promise you that I will do my damn best to make this thing one of the greatest culinary schools in the East Coast. I have that desire. And one day I hope that we will open up either a bed and breakfast or a mini hotel as part of the curriculum that we will operate in downtown. That would be the goal. But that's, gotta walk before, actually you gotta crawl before you walk. Walk before you run.
And he also has already put together an advisory committee. Is that listed in there with significant
Yes,
restaurant? Or
we have quite an advisory board committee. I won't waste your time telling you about it, other than one of our favorite members is Milton Glaser, the foremost graphic designer in the world. He's going to be working with our students on creating the label for our brand. And if you don't know Milton, he's the guy who did the Bob Dylan album with the colored hair, looks like snakes. And Milton also was responsible for creating the I Love New York icon logo. So yes, we do have a wonderful advisory board. It's listed in here, and I'd love to pass these out, as our marketing kits will reinforce exactly where we're going.
Thank you for a great presentation.
Makes you want to sign up, doesn't it?
So you understand how much
Oh, wow. No, I.
It's real. It's all real.
I'll give one of the, yeah.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I know.
Want to press kit?
I wish I were going to be here. Okay, I love it. Oh, of course.
Thanks for
Of course. Thank you. Did all the trustees get one of these?
Not from me.
Not from you?
Thank you, everyone.
Craft beer for, you know,
The beer tasting?
yeah, I'll be happy to do it.
All right. Dr. Wood.
Yes, sir. Just a couple things to reinforce again the importance of the scholarship that Gene Steinberg received, to be able to get into that arena of getting a Jack Kent Cook scholarship for a transfer student is really significant, and that we were very, very pleased about that. And he is you understand how we help students in that way. We will be having on June the 29th an event where we will feature our new and improved and really decorated Holocaust Museum, our groundbreaking for our outdoor performance space, and the opening of our Peace Garden, and we're very, very excited about that, and we'll be inviting the community to that. I also am hosting on June 13th, 14th, and 15th the New York Association of Community College Presidents, so they will be on our campus for 3 days, and I'm also very pleased that our new president will be able to join in for that meeting, because that's a really good place to learn about the SUNY system and how to, the best help you get are from your colleagues. And so I'm very pleased that Dr. Bastian is going to be able to join us for that meeting. And that is my report. You have my written report. And I decided, I think I had shared this letter with you from the daughter of Beth Cunin, a faculty member who is deceased, and her daughter, because it says better than I could. We talk about the Rockland Community College community, the Rockland Community College family, and its impact on our faculty, staff, and our students. And if you read the letter, you absolutely get a sense of that and what that means. And I decided I couldn't say that better And so I'm really pleased to share that with you. And lots of notes I always get at the end of the year from people who really have had a special experience here in some way, thanking the college, and I wanted to share that with you as well. So that is my report, unless there are other questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Wood. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. There are 6 items on the consent agenda tonight: the approval of previous meeting minutes and 5 other resolutions. I will just read the items. Number 2 is the approval to accept the candidates for promotion, Resolution 22-2017. Number 3, the approval to increase tuition for the RCC High School program, effective fall 2017, is Resolution 23-2017. Number 4 is the amendment to energy performance contract, Resolution 24-2017. Number 5 is the energy performance contract financing, Resolution 25-2017. And 6 is the approval to establish criteria for President Emeritus status, Resolution 26-2017. I will just mention that all of these resolutions have been discussed at our workshop meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Deere, Academic Affairs.
You have my report. I have 2 things that I would just like to say. One is that I'm very proud of our nursing department. At this past quarter, of 33 graduates who took the NCLEX exam, all 33 passed. That's 100% pass rate, which is exceptional. So it speaks volumes for our nursing department and faculty. The other thing is that I'd like to read the names of those full-time faculty members who were promoted tonight. Dr. Kevin Barrett, Criminal Justice to Associate Professor. Jeanette Geller, Computer Science to Full Professor. Donna Noble, Occupational Therapy to Associate Professor. Dr. Catherine Katie Lynch, English Associate Professor. Eric Magarum from Mathematics Department to Associate Professor. Jean Fainer from Mathematics to Associate Professor. And Patty Zoda from Exercise and Human Performance to Full Professor. That's my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Deere.
you.
Student Services, VP Dana Stilley.
Good evening. You have my written report. I would also like to say that we will be bringing to you a change in the policy regarding prior felony convictions and disciplinary action. If you recall, late last fall, SUNY changed their policy regarding the disclosure of a prior felony conviction on the general admissions applications, and therefore we will have to update our policy to reflect this change, which will need to go into effect July 1. So that will be part of the packet coming forward to you next month. If you have any questions on my written report, I can answer them now.
Any questions? Thank you, VP Stilley.
Thank you.
Finance and Administration, Dr. Hussein.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I must say I like David's presentation. If you didn't count, I did count myself. He mentioned revenue 6 times and expenses 2 times. That's a good ratio. Yes. I wanted to emphasize the urgency of the Energy Performance Project. This is the 3rd kickoff meeting we had today. And hopefully this is the last kickoff meeting, because we're really cutting close as far as starting the project is concerned. But hopefully we move forward with the resolution that the board has approved, and we can sign the lease for the, sign with the bank the lease and get the financing. That is all I have to say.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Hussain. Okay, Board Secretary report.
Mr. Chairman, we conferring the status of the President Emeritus upon Rockland County Community College President Dr. Cliff Woods, resolution number 27-2017.
Okay, do we want to read that resolution, please? Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah. Just have to go up. Date May 25th, 2017, to Board of Trustees from Mortendijk, Chairman. Subject, confirm the status of President Emeritus upon Rockland Community College President Dr. Clifford L. Wood. Whereas by Resolution 25-2017, the Rockland Community College Board of Trustees approved the creation of a President Emeritus status, emeriti status, along with the criteria for the awarding of the status, and whereas Dr. Clifford Wood has served as president of Rockland Community College since May 1st, 2004, and will retire on June 30th, 2017, a period of 13 years, and whereas Dr. Wood has established a record of distinguished service to the college and the Rockland County community during his tenure as president of Rockland Community College, and whereas Dr. Wood's long record of service to the college and the Rockland County community is detailed in the attached supporting documentation. Therefore, be it resolved that the Rockland Community College Board of Trustees confer the status of President Emeritus upon Dr. Clifford L. Wood and all the privileges that accompany the status as determined by the Rockland Community College President Emeritus policy. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve? Susan?
Second?
I second it too.
All right, well then you want to do rock, scissors, paper, whatever? You can have it.
All right, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Dr. I'm just going to take a second here to read some of the accomplishments. This is a fairly long list, but the list is short compared to what Dr. Wood has done for Rockland Community College. But all of these things were taken into consideration when we considered this resolution. Dr. Cliff L. Wood has dedicated his career to community college leadership, serving in senior management over 5 decades at 5 institutions. He has served as president of Rockland Community College since 2004, overseeing major growth in the college's physical plant, enrollment, community involvement, and workforce development. He is widely known as a leader of vision and integrity. As president of the New York Community Colleges Association of Presidents, 2009 to 2013, Dr. Wood led statewide advocacy efforts on behalf of community colleges, and he remains active in this organization. As a key member of the New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council, Dr. Wood plays an important role in advancing the economy of the Hudson Valley. He has successfully engaged RCC in Startup New York, a key component of the state's economic revitalization initiative that promotes the establishment of public and private partnerships based on SUNY campuses. The college now hosts 2 Startup New York locations, New York Analytical Laboratories in Nyack, and a newly opened RCC Innovation Center at IRG in Pearl River, with an additional 168,000 square feet of space available for Startup New York companies. Under Dr. Wood's leadership, RCC has reached out to every corner of Rockland to serve the county's educational, cultural, and business needs. He expanded RCC Haverstraw Center to offer a 3D printing smart lab and a business innovation mall. Dr. Wood officiated over the spring 2016 opening of the Herbert Kurz Automotive Technology Center in Orangeburg, a 27,304 square foot state-of-the-art model facility offering Snap-on certifications as well as manufacturer-specific training programs with Subaru, Fiat Chrysler, and Ford. RCC is now meeting the employment needs of both job seekers and employers through its oversight of the Rockland County Career Center on campus. The Small Business Development Center also operates both on the main campus and in Haverstraw. To ensure that RCC serves as many students as possible, Dr. Wood promoted plans to build a 330-bed residence hall on this main campus. RCC's excellence under Dr. Wood's presidency was recognized by the Aspen Institute, which named RCC one of the 150 community colleges, best community college in the United States based on its exceptional student outcomes. Known for his frequent declaration, "We take the word community in our title very seriously," Dr. Wood has warmly embraced Rockland's diverse community with enthusiasm. He is a frequent guest at community events and has befriended hundreds of people from every constituency in the county. In addition to the numerous administrative, academic, and communal activities that fill every day of his week, including most weekends, Dr. Wood finds time for what he considers the most important and fulfilling activity of all, helping students. At every opportunity, he announces his open door policy to students, and they do indeed avail themselves of his generosity of time and spirit. He personally mentors numerous students, providing guidance and letters of recommendations, and revels in their ultimate success. Thanks to his relationship with the late Herbert Kurz, Dr. Wood was able to establish the President's Student Success Fund, which provides financial assistance to needy students in areas such as textbooks, transportation, thus enabling them to focus on their studies. Dr. Wood provides volunteer leadership to numerous organizations, including Big Brothers Big Sisters, Rockland Business Association, Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, Cuttington University, Liberia, West Africa, and others. Dr. Wood has been honored by numerous organizations, including the Rockland Economic Development Corporation, Rockland County Police Hispanic Society, the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, Texas A&M University, Commerce, JCC Rockland, and the Child Care Resources of Rockland. Dr. Wood and his wife, Eileen Branton Wood, a recognized community leader, were honored by VCS Incorporated. Dr. Wood earned his bachelor's and master's and doctoral degrees from Texas A&M University at Commerce. He and his wife are the parents of 4 adult children and have 5 grandchildren. This seemed like a long list, but it's just a part of what Dr. Wood has done. And by passing this resolution tonight, I think we will continue to have Dr. Wood as part of the RCC family for the rest of his life. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it was wonderful, thank
Sorry
you.
about
I can't tell you how much that means to me, it's the most important thing, it really is, thank you.
Well deserved, Dr. Wood.
Okay. All right, foundation report. I have a short report for the foundation. On May 15th, Don Carnes retired as Executive Director of the RCC Foundation. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to publicly thank Don Carnes for his dedication to Rockland Community College. During his 15 years of service, he helped double the number of scholarships and raised millions of dollars with his fundraising efforts on behalf of RCC. We wish Don well and thank him for his service to the college and to the community. Also, on May 19th, Elizabeth Kendall was appointed interim executive director and will be assisting in planning the annual golf outing, at which we hope to be honoring Don Carnes on August 8th at the Spook Rock Golf Club. That's my report on the foundation. Any questions? Okay, NICET report.
I'm combining the NICET report with our work on middle states as a board. We'll be having a retreat on
June 22nd,
at,
12 to 5, in Haverstraw.
thank you. Okay, and we'll be working on recommendations being made by NICET to bring more emphasis on the importance of the college to our state legislators and hopefully let them see what important constituency we are, as well as working on the recommendations of the middle states. That's it.
That's it. Any questions? Okay, student government report.
The student body elected a new executive board for the 2017-2018 school year. So the president is Myra Kauser. The vice president is Mondi Mulia. The VOT is Fatima Farouk. The secretary is Kyle Dunnigan, and the treasurer is Chanel Griswold. End report.
Any questions? Thank you, Emma. Older new business. Any older new business? Okay, I'd like to take this opportunity to quickly thank two committees that we had. The search committee, who did an excellent job of choosing our new president. So particularly, I'd like to thank Joseph Rand, who chaired that committee. Also Ileana Eckert, Grant Valentine, who's here, Richard Voigt, and Ben Naylor, who spent a lot of time and effort assisting them. I'd also like to thank the transition committee, who was responsible for putting together the student support fund function. Mary Lou Dillon, particularly for chairing the committee. Thank you. Mary Ellen Dinellen and Mendel Taub. Okay. Any other older new business? Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Mendel Taub.
Second.
Mary Lou Dillon. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.